Hello, I'm Dr. Harper. This video is an Operations Management AMBA 6270, the one-year MBA, Spring 2021. And this is going over memo number 3, Quantity Discount EOQ. So let's bring up the assignment. Now in this assignment, the inventory manager of the warehouse has typically ordered a quantity of 800 each time an order is needed for one of their popular tires to take advantage of the discount provided by the supplier and save the company money. The following discount schedule has just been received reflecting recent changes in the discount percentages. So these changed a little bit. The manager still maintains that an order of 800 is the best since it will save the company the most money because of the quantity discount. Well, that makes sense because the 10% discount means the acquisition cost is $72 per tire instead of $80 per tire. You get a 10% discount. And so that's something that's very attractive. And he says, look, I'm ordering 800 tires at $72 instead of $80. I'm saving the company money. We'll assume the tire is expected to have a constant demand of 1,600 tires over the next year, and the inventory carrying cost is determined by the percentage of acquisition cost, as is usual for quantity discount problems. Although they do not know the unit ordering cost or carrying cost per dollar of inventory, they have reported a total ordering cost of $212, a total carrying cost of $21,140 for last year with a lot size of 800, acquisition cost of $72. The unit cost will apply to next year since no significant change in operations has happened. The president of the company would like to know if the manager is correct in his reasoning or whether another quantity might be better and why. Okay, so the president, not the manager, has contacted us to provide her the information to be presented at the next planning meeting. Since she has been newly appointed to make changes in the company and the manager has historically set the inventory policies, she has demonstrated trust in our ability to provide a quality analysis by retaining us as one of their first consulting projects in inventory. Okay, let's back up and let's see the scenario. Let's see what's happening here. First of all, the manager still maintains that an order quantity of 800 is best since it will save the company money. But notice down here I say, since she has been newly appointed and the manager has historically set the inventory policies. So what we see here is that the inventory manager says 800 is the best since it will save the company money. Okay? And he has historically done this. She has been newly appointed. So the scenario here is the manager has always done this. She's newly appointed. She's the president, so she could overrule him. But she has gone outside to ask us to come in and answer some questions. So what does she want us to do? What she wants us to do is, the president would like to know if the manager is correct in his reasoning and whether another quantity is better and why. Okay, is better, but also why is it better? Now notice nowhere in here in what the president is asking is the manager correct in his reasoning for saving the company the most money? So that's just what he says up here. And if the manager is correct in his reasoning, and let me underline that. Okay. So in the memo, in our response to her, we have to say, is he correct in his reasoning and why? Or why not? Is another quantity better and why? Or why not? So that's what this memo is about. Okay. So let's look at this. Well, first of all, let's see what we know. Let me put it up here. First of all, demand is 1,600 items per year. Here's over the next year. Now the carrying cost We do not know the unit carrying cost or ordering cost. We don't know that. But we have the total ordering cost of 212. So we know that. TOC equals 212. Now that's for the whole year. Okay? And the total carrying cost. We know that for the whole year of 21,140. Okay, come up here and let's say 21140. 21140. So we know that. But that's all we know. Well, we do know one more thing. We know that the lot size was 800. So from this 800, with that demand, we know that these are the total costs. So if we want to analyze this thing, if is correct in his reasoning, then we would probably want to know the ordering cost, the carrying cost, and the total inventory cost. Equals total ordering cost plus total carrying cost. So if we look at these three things, looking at the cost, we can start with that. Okay, well, to analyze this thing with a quantity discount problem, to start analyzing it, we need the unit costs. Okay, first of all, remember the total ordering cost equals the order frequency times the unit ordering cost. We know that. Can we populate this with what we know? Yes, we can. But also the total carrying cost equals the average inventory Q over 2 times the carrying cost. But in quantity discounts, that's going to equal Q over 2 times I times C in quantity discounts. Can we populate that? Yes, we can. And we know some things, we don't know some things, but then basically what I want to emphasize here is if you know what you know here, you know this information, this paragraph, but then there's things you don't know. You do not know the unit ordering cost or the carrying cost per dollar of inventory. That's what you do not know. Can you calculate this from what you know? So what I want to emphasize here is a good way to do this, and a very good way to do this, and one I want to recommend not only in industry, not only in a university and education, but also in industry and business, is first write down what you know. And that's what I just did. This is what I know, what we know. And then write down relationships. These are the relationships related to this. That's the second thing. As a matter of fact, let me do this. I want to emphasize this since this is a video. Okay, write down what you know. Write down the relationships. And then what you need to know. Okay, and so let me put this up here. That's our demand. This is our lot size. Put this up here. And we don't really need to know anything else. We know that. But right here is our ordering cost. Right here's our carrying cost. And the total inventory cost. Okay. And so here's our relationships. Put this over here. A relationship, put this over here. Okay. We can bring this down. And then we say, what do we need to know? We need to know, then populate with what you know. Okay, so right here the total ordering cost is 212 equals what's the order frequency? Well, we know what the order frequency is, right? That equals D over Q. That equals 1600 divided by Q of 800 times our unit ordering cost. Okay, and then down here, what about the carrying cost? Well, our carrying cost is 21140 equals, well, we know our lot size Q, that's 800. 800 divided by 2 times I We don't know that, but we know C, that's 72. Okay, so notice what I'm doing here. What I'm saying here, which is important, is saying, first of all, you write down what you know, write down the relationships you have, and then you populate the relationships with what you know. Okay, and then finally, and only after you've done these 3 steps, then what do you need to know? See, find what you need. Okay, I need C sub O. Well, C sub O will be this divided by that. I will be this divided by that. So I could write it in there. You see what I'm getting at here? And so I can actually calculate my unit ordering cost. I can also calculate my carrying cost per dollar by just solving those equations. Well, let's do it in Excel. Okay, so this is the first thing I want to point out here, is that this is how you do this before you ever go to Excel. Now, the reason I'm emphasizing this is a lot of times people will look at these numbers and say, oh, do I take 212 divided by 80? Do I take 72 times this over this? What about this? And trying to do these numbers without really a structure, you will highly come up with the wrong numbers. So you have a nice step-by-step structured approach. Here's what you know. Here's the relationships you have. You populate it and solve for what you don't know or what you need to know. Okay? And so I can do that. But let's do it in Excel. Let's bring up Excel. Okay? Well, first of all, let's just bring all of this down. Let's bring this information down. Bring this over. Bring it down a little ways and copy it in. And there it is. Okay, because we do want to see how to do this stuff, right? There they are. We'll start with that. Okay, now what we want to do, remember, we're going to have the initial Q. Then we have the feasible Q. Q. And then we're going to have the total cost. And then we have the then we don't have the answer. So this is what we're after. Okay. But before we do that, down here, let's put our demand down here. Our demand equals 1,600. Okay. Then over here, our total ordering cost equals 212. And then the total carrying cost equals 21140. Okay, so that's what we have. We already have all this stuff here good, okay? And then we know that our Q equals 800, okay? Our C sub O and our I, so let's calculate it. Whoops, C sub O equals, let's calculate it. Well, we've already done that down here. Bring this over here. We've done that down here. Let's move this over. And there it is. Okay. And so C sub O is going to equal the 1,600 divided by 800 times my, whoops, no, it's not, equals the 212. Then it's divided by, parenthesis, 1,600 divided by 800. There we go. Almost did it wrong. So unit ordering cost is $106 per order. What about our carrying cost? Well, we have the equation down here, right? So let's do it. That's going to equal, first of all, 21140 divided by all of this stuff, which is 800 divided by 2 times 72. Okay, and we come up with approximately 73.4 cents per dollar. That's pretty expensive. So carrying that inventory is going to be, let me enlarge this so you can see it. carrying this inventory is going to be pretty expensive here. And so we might have to be careful just going in here and saying, okay, let's ordering a lot. So ordering this much could have a lot of carrying cost. Okay. Okay, first of all, let's do initial Q. Now we can do it. We can just bring all of this up here now. So now let's start analyzing this. This is equal the square root of 2 times my demand, which is my demand, fix that, times my ordering cost, which is this. Okay, and we'll fix that. Divided by my IC. Okay, that's going to be this I. We're going to fix that times C. Well, the C is over here, and that's going to change, right? And so it's going to be $76, 76 items, 77 and 80, right? My feasible Q, well, it's going to, this is in the range, so they equal 76. This is not in the range, I want 400, and this is 800. Okay? Now I can get my total cost here, but I think probably a better way to do this is come down here and say, you know, I want to calculate my ordering, carrying, acquisition cost, total cost separately. So I might want to use that in my memo. So let's go ahead and do that. So here's my feasible Q. Okay, and so actually let's just do it this way. Equal feasible Q, and then copy this down. Bing, bing, bing. Okay. Now on this one, let's do the item cost. Actually, up here, let me just say, here's our, this is our item cost. Just type that in. So now this will be our item cost. Copy this down because I want my demand here. Whoops. Let me just say my demand. I'll say demand. That's going to equal 1,600. Okay. Now the reason I'm doing that is I want my frequency. My frequency is going to equal D over F. D divided by, D over Q. D over Q. So there's my frequency. Then copy this down. 21, 4, and 2. So here's my unit ordering cost. And that's simply going to equal 106, 106, 106. Now my total ordering cost then equals my frequency times my unit ordering cost. And here it comes. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Let's just bring this down just to dollars. Okay. So notice our ordering cost is pretty high for this. And it begins to go down. Interesting. Why? Because we're ordering so many times with a low. Okay, that's ordering cost. Let's do the carrying cost next. Okay, so let's do this again. I'll just do it up here. Feasible Q. Copy this down. There it is. Now my average inventory simply is Q over 2. Copy this down. There that is. Okay, good to go. Sounds good to me. Actually, this I'll leave all these numbers in because it's essentially 38. Okay, then the item cost will equal this. Whoops. Let me go ahead and do it this way. Item cost. Copy that down. Okay, then the I, which equals this. Now I'm going to go ahead and say I times C, just just to do it this way, equals I times the C. There's a C right there. So this is going to be the cost per item. Okay. And then finally, the total carrying cost is the cost per item times your average inventory. There it is. Then copy this down. And let's bring these down to dollars. There you go. Now the last thing is a total acquisition cost. Okay, this is our demand here. Let me just, this will be easy to say this. That's our demand, and then we multiply that times our item cost. Okay, the total acquisition cost equals this times this. Okay, then over here we'll have our total cost. Actually, now that we have this, tell you what, let's do. Let's come back up here and let's, well, down here I guess. Let's just move this down. Let me show you what I want to do. Move this down. Okay, so right here we want the categories. Feasible. Right here, total ordering cost, total carrying cost, total acquisition cost, and then right here say total cost. Just bring them all together, almost like notice what I'm doing here. It's kind of like a dashboard, but it's all together. I'm not going to worry about that now. Maybe in other courses we'll look at dashboards. Okay, let's see. We'll do this. Bring this down. Click, 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 click. Bring this down to make it all dollars. There it is. And now this will equal the acquisition cost plus this, and this will be, there we go. Okay, and there it is. And this right here is going to equal this. So the question is, which one's the minimum? Well, I can. It's obvious here. Let's see, 132, 133, 130. Well, this is the minimum. Okay, there's a minimum right there. So let me just say minimum. If this is equal to the minimum of all of these, then I want to say minimum, otherwise blank. And it is. So I copy this down. Well, first of all, I want the G4 through G6, fix that, and now I copy this down, and notice what happens is that's the minimum, these are not. Okay? What's the difference? And so this difference between these two here, notice these two are how much are your savings? Let me just say savings. From this is what the manager is doing. This is the optimal one. That's 4089. What about the manager from here? This is this minus this. So the difference is going to be, if you go to the second one, you're saving that much. If you go here, you're saving, that's the most saving, so that's the minimum. What's the difference? Just say diff. That's going to equal this minus this. The difference is $718. Okay. So you're saving $718 more going with the first category versus second category, but you're saving over $4,000 going from what the manager's doing down to the minimum. So which one of these do you pick? It's up to you. It's up to you. But there's one more thing you should think about. One more thing I think that's important. Let's take this here and move this down 1 or 2 maybe. And let's move this down 1, and let's look at something a little deeper. That's the cost, right? So here is looking at the cost as far as each one of these. And this is looking at the cost. Let's go a little bit deeper. Okay, let's come up here and look at the feasible. Copy this down. 1, 2, 3. Now let's look at the frequency. Well, the frequency for each one of these, where's the frequency? Here it is, equals this. Let's look at the average inventory. That's going to equal this right here. Copy that down. Let's bring these just to the units digit. There we go. Let's look at this. Okay, so right here, this right here probably is where we want to put our memo. And as far as looking at what the manager's done. What the manager has done is $4,000 more than ordering 76. Now remember, it's a feasible queue. Okay, if you order 76, let's bring this down. If you order 76 instead of 800, you'll save $4,000. If you order 400 instead of 800, you'll save $3.37 thousand. Okay, and this. But down here you say, well, at 800 the frequency is only 2 per year, but if you go to 76, you're ordering it 21 times a year. So the amount of work in your purchasing department is 10 times more work. It goes from 2 to 21, 10 times more work. And so over here you say, wow, you know, we do 3 memos in this course. What if we did 30 memos in this course? That will minimize your cost. Well, when you look at cost, you increase your work. If you're in the purchasing department, we do once every 6 months. Now we're doing it like every 2 weeks. Do we want to do that? No. So they're going to have pushback. And even if they don't, and you force them to do it, because we're saving the company the most money, the amount of work will cause mistakes. Because you're 10 times more work, they don't have enough labor, time to do it right. Probably start making mistakes. That's something to think about. What about our average inventory? Well, here we have 400. We're going to jump down to 38. That's nothing. Okay? We're moving 38 around all the time trying to satisfy our demand. We're going to have to hire more people in order to do this. Or maybe hire less people. Because now we're handling 400. Now we're handling 300. So whatever we do, it's going to change, it's disrupt our operations in the warehouse. Handling 400 down to 38. What are we going to do with that extra space? Okay, and also, I have people to manage 400. Now I need people to manage 38. Is it going to require more people because we're doing it more? Or more people or less people? Or, I don't know. The change to the warehouse. So the change to the purchasing department of the warehouse is going to be significant. Now, what about the middle one? Well, 2 to 4 every 6 months, every quarter, that's not bad. Coming down half as much, well, I'll use the same amount of people, but maybe it'll free up their time a little bit. if we free up their time going from 800 to 400, I'm still saving $3,000. I could have saved $718 more dollars, but wait a minute. You're talking about $700 over a whole year to maintain morale and efficiency. So maybe there's other things. Remember, it doesn't say what's the minimum cost. She didn't ask what the minimum cost was. Instead, she said, is there another quantity that might be better, and why? Is he correct in his reasoning? His reasoning is about cost. She says, is there another quantity better, and why? So it's not only about cost, it's talking about operations. Okay, well, the cost, that's the cheapest if you just look at cost. But maybe operations has a different view. Maybe instead of looking at just at cost, maybe we'll look at this and look at operations, the warehouse and the purchasing department, the buyers, looking at those and cost, the triple constraint of efficiency. So maybe there's a different way to go about it. I'll leave that up to you to put together a memo to explain that. I think we have a lot that we can say. And so you're charged with this conversation with the group, putting together what you feel is going to be the best way to respond. Prepare a one-page memo to the president, to Ms. Deer Tracker, that adequately addresses her request with the content suitable to be useful in the planning meeting. Now, what I mean by this, that adequately addresses her request with content suitable to be useful in the planning meeting. You don't get too technical. You get very practical so she can use that and present it. Something that's easy to use for her to present. Address the reasoning given by the manager, because she asked that. Prepare a separate one-page technical memo to me outlining the details of your analysis. Prepare a video, presented PowerPoint, MP4 format. Okay, so this is how we've done before. Okay, but be very careful that you address the reasoning and you give them enough information on a quantity that's better and why, and you don't say this is the way to go. You say here are other quantities and here's why they're better. So this is not giving her an answer. It's giving her maybe a series of answers. In other words, let's come back to this. There are three ways to go: 76, 400, and 800. Why is this good? Why is this good? Why is this good? Okay, and so you're giving options, and you're giving why they're better, and then you're comparing them and let them make the decision. This is their decision. They're not asking us for a recommendation. They're asking us on whether the manager is correct and if another quantity is better and why is it better. So make sure you answer the question the way it's asked, or you respond to their request the way it was given to us. Okay? Hopefully that helps on going with this memo. It's a very good memo. Okay? And even though we're not going to do this now, but there's more to this memo than just what we've said. And once I hand it back to you the week after later, I'll be talking about that last week before you take the exam. That's all I have for this. I hope this helps. So between now and next time I see you, I want to urge everyone to be safe, take care of yourself, stay healthy so you can keep learning, because keep your body healthy so your mind can keep learning, and the more your mind learns, the healthier it's going to be. But now and the next time I see you, I want to urge everyone, take care.